No, everyone has a tongue for whiskey. There is no special tongue for whiskey. However, I will say that women are better at smelling and tasting whiskey. They have a better nose and a better palate. So if anyone's born special, it is women. The Grant's family have been making whiskey since 1887. It was a man called William Grant and his 9 children that built a distillery called Glenfiddich. And 10 years later, Glenfiddich was going so well, they built the Balvenie. And it was just a few years after that that we started blending our own whiskey, Grant's. And ever since then, from 1887, it has been passed down from generation to generation. And I'm very honoured to be a part of that family and working with that family and being given the responsibility to represent Grant's, which is their main whiskey, whilst I travel around the world. Do we drink before we speak? Look, we drink a lot of whiskey, right? Scottish people love whiskey. It's a very alcohol culture in Scotland. We don't have weather, but we've got lots of like pubs that we go to. For example, here it's nice and sunny, right? So I would say we should go out for a walk and a coffee. We don't really get the sun in Scotland, so it's more like let's go to the bar and catch up over a few drams, over a few Grants, you know. The interview was really intense. I was working at a whiskey bar 5 years ago. I've been working with whiskey since I was 18 years old. And I was working in this whiskey bar and a few of my friends sent me a message on the phone, and it was a Facebook advert, and it said, do you want to travel the world and talk about whiskey? I'd love to do that, you know. So I applied alongside 5,000 other people all over the world, and I had to make a cocktail, and then I had to do a sort of short video, like a 1-minute video, and tell them why I would be a good ambassador, why I should be given a shot. I used to be an actor. I used to do a lot of theatre and radio work, so making a short video was easy for me. And then after that, the 5,000 get whittled down to about 20 people. Ended up at the distillery, met 19 other people who were just as mad about whiskey as I was, and somehow got down to the final 3, and that's when I had to travel from Russia, Taiwan and Australia over 10 days to show that I am ambassador worthy. And for some reason, 5 years ago, I got a phone call and they said, Danny, you're the global ambassador for Grant's. Oh, dude, that's hard. Everything, a bit of everything. Every day is different, which I love. I really struggle sitting behind like a laptop and stuff, so the pandemic sucked. But you usually get up early. For example, this morning I was doing a masterclass with some influencers, which involves talking about Grant's, the woods we use, why it's important, the fact we've been making whiskey for over 100 years. And then I was having some food with some clients, and that's when we were pairing the Grant's with some food. And then I'm here talking to you and the Forbes magazine about what I do. Every day's different, and there's a lot of travel, a lot of travel. And of course there is quite a bit of drinking as well, but it's kind of like you're the face of a brand and you represent that brand. You're sort of like the kind of party person, you host events, and yeah, it's crazy. Every day is different and I love it. That's quite funny. I remember when I was in Colombia in 2019 and the pandemic hit, and I was coming out of Bogota trying to get back to the UK, and I was basically just told, no, you cannot go, the pandemic. And I was like, oh my god, I'm going to be stuck in Colombia, what do I do? And I'm quite a cocky person. I just said, look, I'm an ambassador to Scotland, I'm an ambassador, and I didn't tell them what ambassador I was, and these people were freaking out. And I remember I was just like, listen, I'm an ambassador, I need to go. And I got on, my heart was in my mouth, and that was the last flight leaving from Bogota into the States and then back to the UK. So I don't have diplomatic immunity, but this gets me quite a few places that maybe I shouldn't be. Yeah, it is. Of course it's the best job in the world, but it has ups and downs like every other job. You know, like tonight, I know we're going to be launching Grant's Triple with 12, and there's going to be hundreds of people there. We're going to be having cocktails. It's going to be awesome. There'll be pictures, and it'll be like, woo! And then I know that at 7 a.m. in the morning, I have to take 3 flights just to get back to Arizona. So I'll be traveling for about 15 hours. And that's when it's less like, woo, and more like, you know? So, look, it has its ups and downs. I am blessed to be able to travel the world. And, like, not just you guys in Ecuador, but all of Latin America have been so warming and so kind to me. So yeah, it is the best, but it has its ups and its downs. How do you drink your coffee?
No sugar.
No sugar. Milk?
No.
No milk. How do you drink your coffee?
Black.
Black. Weird that, isn't it? You both drink coffee, but you drink it different ways. I drink my coffee with oat milk now. I used to drink it with like normal milk. Different palate. So there is no perfect way to drink whiskey. If you like it with ice, great. You like it with water, perfect. Mix it with cola, awesome. Old fashioned, whiskey sour, play with your whiskey. If you want to drink it straight for your whole life, that's great, but I guarantee you're missing out on some flavours. Because when you add some water, it's going to wake up some of the beautiful flavours in there. Grant's 12 is a perfect example of a little bit of ice. You get the vanilla, the caramel and the toffee flavours coming through. You might miss some of those flavours if you don't play with your whiskey. Don't let people tell you how to drink your coffee. Don't let them tell you how to drink your whiskey. Everyone can be a Grant's believer. Everyone can be a Grant's drinker. And it's for everyone. That's why we say together we make it. It's not about the individual, it's about the group. It's a blended Scotch whisky. It's a mix of single grain and single malt whiskies. It's a family company. You know, it's all about bringing people together and having a laugh. You don't have to be a suited and booted middle-aged white man smoking a cigar. You can be an 18-year-old punk lady who's going out at a gig and having a whiskey as well. It's for everyone. A hangover's a hangover, right? I think that's a lot of people have been saying it's less intense with whiskey. Whiskey's a quality product, okay? The Grant's 12 has been maturing in those barrels for a minimum of 12 years. It's got this beautiful body and it tastes amazing. You're going to get a hangover with that, just like you're going to get a hangover with any other alcohol. Is it easier with whiskey? I think maybe for me it is. I drink quite a lot of whiskey and it's mostly whiskey that I drink. Of course I get hangovers from time to time, but I can't say that just because you're drinking whiskey you're going to get less of a hangover. Everyone's different. So you might get a hangover after 2, you might get a hangover after 3, and after 1 maybe I've got a hangover, so I don't know. Yeah, you guys love it. You guys love Grant's. And do you know what's been really nice to see? I know that before Grant's was quite big and then we sort of disappeared for a while, so I think going around there's a few people that have maybe lost that love or that passion for Grant's. Over these past few days I've had bartenders, influencers, on trade, off trade, a bunch of people, and I do a lot of master classes, and one of the most special moments is when I let them first try the Triple Woods 12. Everyone sort of just goes silent and they smile, and you see it all around the world when people try the Grant's 12. There is a fan group for Grant's, and there's going to be an even bigger fan group, especially when the on-trade, my industry crew, the bar crew, start getting their hands on the Grant's Triple Wood 12 and start playing with it and mixing it in cocktails, because as I said before, it's for everyone. It's not just for the older people, it's from young all the way through. Gracias for your love and compassion that you've shown me whilst I've been here. It's the best job in the world, and this is probably my favourite place. Ecuador, Colombia, Peru and Paraguay, all of them have just been so nice. I've not had one bad thing happen to me, and everyone takes care of me. I often say that you are a bit like the Scottish people. Your heart is on your sleeve. You love to tell stories and you love bringing people into it. It's like a really friendly group straight away, and that's what the Scots are like. So I definitely feel at home here, and muchas gracias for making me feel so welcome.